What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Opinionated Idiot YouTube channel. I want to say happy Friday to everybody. I know it's been a little while since I've made some content or been live on air, and frankly, I have just a little bit of time today, but I know all of you will catch up on the replay after this video posts. So a lot of things going on in the Bryan Kohberger Idaho 4 murder trial. And the other day he was in court, and I actually want to bring up an article about that from TMZ. If you haven't heard, Bryan Kohberger, the judge orders no bail, waives his right to a speedy trial. So if anybody's asking what that is and what that's going to per se going forward in this trial, is basically Bryan is waiving his right to see his case, to get his case in the court system quickly. So what this will essentially do is give his defense team some time to put together his case. And it seems like he's going to go forward and fight this case. He's going to put up a defense. Now, it's going to be interesting to see as things go on and his defense team starts to see evidence in this case. Will they strike a deal? If he is indeed guilty, will he strike a deal? So that is the curious question here. And there's still a lot of unanswered questions in this case. You know, as we know, we had the probable cause affidavit come out, and we had a basic kind of structure and outline statement of what the information was used to actually arrest Kohberger for this heinous crime. And I said this in my previous videos that, you know, all of the details in that affidavit were not going to be there. There's a probable cause, you know, this is just strictly probable cause. So what we're going to see as this case goes on and goes to trial, they may have a hair fiber that, you know, of Kohberger's that fell in the victim's blood. They may have more maybe fiber evidence. I'm sure that the his white Elantra that he saw had been seen at 4 o'clock in the morning, strenuously cleaning in front of the FBI, dumping his trash in the next door neighbor's yard at his parents' house when he was in Pennsylvania before the FBI picked him up. So I'm sure that they're going to go through that white Elantra. They're going to collect samples and collect evidence from that car. We may find the victim's blood in there that just ultimately connects him to this case, to connect him to being the person that committed this crime. And again, I want to make sure that everybody understands, I am not saying that Bryan Kohberger is guilty. There's a lot of evidence right now pointing in the direction that he is guilty. And I am just assuming at this point that he may be guilty, but everybody in the United States is given the right to a fair trial and due process. And until all those facts come out in court, until all that evidence is put out there to say that Kohberger did this or didn't do this, we can only speak about this case right now. So from TMZ, judge orders no bail, waives right to a speedy trial. Says sources, says Bryan Kohberger is in no hurry to stand trial with the quadruple murder, and not shockingly, the judge is ordering him to be held without bail until the trial. He appeared in a Moscow, Idaho courtroom Thursday morning with apparent scratches on his face. And yes, this was a big topic of conversation as to what happened with those scratches. Why did he have those scratches? And I guess apparently from the sheriff, he said that it was just a shaving accident, but who knows? Maybe someone got to him. But we do know that he is being held by himself in the area of that jail, and kind of corded off from other inmates. So I don't know. I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. Someone will find a way. But I think just to kind of, if it is a specific incident that did happen, you know, they'll kind of keep that under wraps and keep that quiet. So it says he appears in a Moscow, Idaho courtroom Thursday morning with apparent scratches on his face and wearing an orange jumpsuit. as he waived his right to speedy trial. The whole hearing was over in about a few minutes, and the preliminary hearing for this trial has been set for June 26th. So this is going to be, like I said, this is going to be a long trial. And I talked about that in some of my other previous videos as well. If you haven't gone over and see those videos, you can check them out on my page after this live stream. And you can click on those and view and just kind of see my opinions and thoughts so far on this case. But this is going to be a long case. And this is now going to give some time to Kohberger and his defense team to see what kind of defense they can mount against this case. If they even have, somewhat of a chance if he is guilty to basically come up with a reason why he's not guilty in this case, to come up with some evidence, some evidence, hard evidence to show that he is not guilty. But it does seem, like I said, that he is going to fight this. But maybe as they go along, maybe his defense team looks at him and says, hey, the evidence is clearly pointing towards you in this case. It's not really looking good. Maybe you should take a deal. Maybe we can cut a deal with the prosecution. For me, I'd hate to see that happen. I'd love to see this go to trial. I think it's going to be a very interesting, meticulous trial. And it's going to be, something that we're going to want to follow here. It says Kohberger was accused by fatally stabbing Kaylee, Maddie, Izana, and Ethan in an off-campus rental home in Moscow, Idaho on November 13th. The three women that lived in that house and Chapin was visiting. So I'm not going to get too much into the full story because we know the full story here, but I just wanted to update you what was going on with Kohberger presently in his case. So it's going to look like June 26th, will be his preliminary hearing for trial, and it has been set for that date. It's not probably a date, they have it on the court book. They have it on the books for the 26th. Maybe something gets moved around. I think I remember hearing something during the hearing that the prosecution said that I think it was like the first or second week of July would be much better for them. So I'm not sure if they're going to push that along even more. But right now on the books, his preliminary hearing is set for June 26th. So that's where we are so far with Kohberger as far as where his case is. I did find this a little bit interesting. I was kind of palling around on Reddit and I came up with this post. And, as we're kind of talking about his trial right now, I want to get into this and show you something that I found on Reddit. And it just seemed to be pretty interesting. It was a question that was asked on Reddit about, should Kohberger confess? Or maybe looking at, if he confesses. It says, at this point, it seems Kohberger is trying to mount a defense, even in the face of all evidence, of which there have been a lot more as things have progressed. But here's my thoughts on this. This guy loves attention. We know that serial killer types of a sort would want to be in the center of attention. But let's compare him to BTK. When BTK was arrested, he immediately confessed and seemed to enjoy revealing all the details of the murders. While in prison, he's been subject of countless books, movies, documentaries, interviews. He loves the aspect of his life. In comparison, if Kohberger sticks with his concept of claiming innocence and goes all the way to trial and is found guilty, he's locked into a situation, just like Scott Peterson. He has to continue to proclaim innocence eternally. True, if he could switch gears and say, oh, okay, I'm guilty, I did it. But these guys who start out to be on the innocent path, they tend to stick with it for whatever reason, hoping they will get it overturned on appeal, get out on a death penalty. And that's what I have to look at this too. Let's just say Kohberger is guilty and maybe he knows he's guilty, extending all of this, putting this through this long trial, it kind of builds this, and I hate to say this, kind of like celebrity, in a sick world, a sick, fantasy world, he becomes kind of this celebrity little while in his mind. I'm in the public, they're watching me, and it's just getting that same feeling of committing that crime over and over again. And just like this person was saying in this, it subjects him to books and documentaries and movies, and he's just kind of living this huge fantasy, going on. So, in their mind, if they're guilty, just continue to, just say, I'm innocent, I'm innocent. And then you're getting all this basically camera time, courtroom time, pictures of you taken everywhere. And then what happens is you ultimately start becoming, bigger than the case. And that's something that I want to make sure here that we never lose sight of. We never lose sight of all the victims and the victims' families in this case, because it's about them, and it's about them, and it's about remembering and living on, making sure that this is, this is not forgotten. They have not forgotten in this. So it goes on to say, uh, I'm guilty, I did it, but these guys start down the innocent path and tend to stick forever, overturning the appeal to get out of a death penalty, etc. But for most of these, realize in their heart of hearts, they're going to get out. But most of these people realize in their heart of hearts, they're going to get out. Then they aren't going to get out. They aren't going to get out anytime soon, if ever. And not are they stuck in prison. They get no weird glory for confessing their crimes, where all the glory details can come out, like BTK, and they can't claim their true place among serial killer fan base. I realize this is sick, but it's unfortunately how it seems to work out there. He becomes uninteresting to authors, filmmakers, etc., because there's no inside details of the murders to work with coming directly from him again. Comparing him to BTK or Night Stalker and others who become official as having really done the crimes because they fully confess, where does it leave Kohberger if he says he's innocent forever? He's stuck with that concept. This person goes on to say, so in a weird way, he's only hurting his own story, his own ability to truly have all of what he wants of this horrible situation by confessing. It's a strange concept, but he wants attention, and he's not going to get it long-term in prison in the same way as a full detailed inside confession that a true crime author can utilize in a full-length, in-depth book about him. Yes, authors have written books about murderers who continue to proclaim their innocence, but it's not quite the same as those who have provided specific details as to what they did. The Manson family killers eventually confessed and talked about what they did inside Sharon Tate's home. Without those details, I doubt that much would have been written about them. So my advice for Kohberger would be to confess. Your life in prison will be much happier. And then they said, laugh out loud. So that's a very in-depth thought. And, like I said, these guys kind of become, if they are guilty and they did commit these crimes, they kind of become, celebrities in their own minds. So I wanted to bring some attention to that as well. Another thought or another topic of discussion out there has been, and it's kind of the main reason I wanted to come on air today, is just kind of scrubbing around and finding out more about Kohberger. There's been some information out there, and I am pretty sure at this point that it has been confirmed that it is Kohberger, about possibly a forum that he was writing on, at an early age, 14 or 15 years old. He was typing on this forum, talking about seeing static visuals and having visual static. And, from what I understand, what I've read is that could be some form of schizophrenia. Now, the interesting about this is, will they use this in, the defense of their trial? If they know for sure that he's guilty, was he ever documented for having any type of mental issues or schizophrenia? I'm sure that if this is true, that's going to be an avenue that the defense is going to explore. But I did find through Reddit the message board that he was writing on. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of this is extremely creepy. And, I hate to make fun of anybody's, mental illness, but given the circumstances, it's just very eerie that, that he was writing like this, asking, about seeing these static visuals or visual snow, um, talking about his diet. I want to go on here that he was thinking that something that he was eating was inflaming this and causing this to be within himself. Let's see. This is from Kohberger on May 12th, 2011. I always feel as I'm not there, completely depersonalized. Mentally, I experience fog, lack of comprehension at some times, feel like my life is a movie, depersonalization, depression, not interested in activity, constant thought of suicide, crazy thoughts, delusions of grandeur, anxiety, poor self image, poor social skills, no emotion. And that's capitalized. No emotion. I feel like nothing at this point to it. When I get home, I mean, to my family, this started when visual snow did. I felt no emotion. And among the depersonalization, I can say, and do whatever I want with little remorse. Everyone hates me pretty much as I'm an asshole. Wow. Whew, really eerie stuff. I was reading down here. Let's see. If you're worried about the visual snow, it gets worse. Even if it does, it gets better. I say no, it makes it worse. My pupils are going crazy from Kohberger. My pupils are going crazy. I can barely look at light. I felt like a film over my vision and it got sensitive to light. It's like a film made of stuff fade out, but not completely. Ever happen to you guys? It it also looked to be like a wisted shaded circle in my vision, outlining the line that I saw in my vision. This is still going on now, sort of. And then someone's talking about halo effects. It sounds very exaggerated. I mean, this just goes on, and it's just really, it sounds like you're on a mind altering medication, need help. When I was on Topax, I did crazy shit that I should have died from. Wow. I'm pledging loyalty to the site as it's helped me amazingly. There was some other really interesting stuff. I feel so blank and from Kohberger on June 10th, 2011. I feel so blank and generic. I can barely remember my eventful childhood. As I try to think of my childhood, I become upset into a depressed state. And I'll read some from this passage here. Damage from Kohberger was like I have severe brain damage. I am stuck in the depths of my mind where I have to constantly battle my demons. Or am I here or am I fake? I feel myself slipping away. I hear screams faintly, but I constantly battle away from it. What if I let go? Where would I be? Where would I ever come back to reality? I try to remember where originated from, but I can't. I barely remember my childhood. I often fear being 80 years old alone and having faint memories of my parents, everything I missed out on. I think about my father, what a good man he is, how I treat him like dirt because I have this condition. I can't take it. I might spiral out of control and lose myself in the void. I can't let go. All these regrets I predict of my future self, all these thoughts of remorse. I got this when I was at the stage of discovery. Now I look in the mirror and I see this sickly, tired, useless, and stupid man in the mirror. He's completely a disgrace. He doesn't even deserve to live. Remember when I was 15, I would wander alone at 2 a.m. Everything was so generic where I felt like home. I saw things that were not there, a different reality. It felt eerie and alone. I died during those nights. I felt like a criminal, but where is my record? I felt like a criminal, but where I felt like a criminal. Wow. I can't talk without flinching now. I used to be this healthy blonde haired boy with blue eyes. And in a few years, I have darker hair and darker eyes, half the body weight. Where did it leave off? I try to sleep. I try to clear my head, but the pleasure won't go away. The pain and depression won't leave. Being me is this horrible disease that I was given. I think this is succumb to sleep, but I see large intensely of black, yellow, white fuzz. It makes my mind fizzle, and I can barely keep bounds of reality. It is as if the ringing in my ears and fuzz in my vision is simply all the demons in my head mocking me. I search for someone to relate to me. Everyone looks down upon me, and no one can relate. As I try to read, suddenly my eyes look right through the words when I look up. I see blue dots near the center of my vision. When I feel slightly calm, it's hard to breathe, and I see bright dots in my vision. Nothing I do is enjoyable. I'm blank. I have no opinion. I have no emotion. I have nothing. Can you relate? And that's from Kohberger, and clearly a lot of mental issues, going on, just eerie things. And I want to look up visual snow syndrome. Let's see. It's something I'd never even heard of before. We come back to this. And I mean, this pages and pages. This goes for 100 pages. I mean, he just look at the writing. I mean, there's just. I mean, it would take me an hour to read through all of this stuff. He's talking about his vision deteriorating, getting worse. His visual snow gets worse. So let's take a look at visual snow. What's visual snow by definition? What is visual snow syndrome? Visual snow syndrome is a disorder that causes you to see static. Some describe it as seeing things in snow globe that has been shaken up. There are flickering dots through the field of vision, and the snow that you see may be colorful black, white, and transparent, or maybe a flash. What is visual snow caused by? The causes of visual snow syndrome are currently unknown. Some key features of the syndrome point to neurological disorders or visual proceedings in the brain cortex. Wow. So clearly, Kohberger having a lot going on. We'll go back to this here. I started treatment for my hypothyroidism, and I'm also exercising very healthy and eating a lot of good stuff. Sometimes when I move from a sitting position to stand one versus it turns really bright and intense to comparison to usual. Today I got up and it was so bad I almost fell and my heart pounded intensely. I couldn't see for 0.8 seconds completely. I'm just battling with some people on the forum. Yeah, it seems that visual snow actually assimilates to new things that occur. You just have to train your body to be used to the physical pressure, and you never see this again when you cough. Wow. He goes, I go crazy on Topamax. I mean, clearly it looks like he's been medicated. I don't know what Topamax is. Let's see. What's Topamax? Topamax. What is Topamax prescribed for? Topramate is a medication that works on the brain and is sometimes used with patients with bipolar disorder. It's approved for treatment of seizure epilepsies in adult and children in combination with others and other preventing migraines, headaches in adults. So clearly, I mean, he was medicated on some medication. February 20th, 2012, I have just accepted my visual snow finally. I don't even feel the need to stay away from the forum. It doesn't scare me anymore. Anyone else come to terms? I might be coming to terms. Could this be a bad thing though? Yeah, I mean, it just goes on and on. It looks like someone screenshot the his profile here. And I mean, this just goes forever, but I wanted to just bring a little bit of that up as to, what was going on. I know this has been a topic of discussion. Let's see. Yeah. Beef Supreme says probably because he was staring at a computer screen for hours. That's why he has visual snow, or what is called Havana syndrome. It could be possible. It could be possible, but I mean, clearly, reading, you're finding out that, it looks like he was medicated for some type of bipolar. That could be some type of bipolar disorder. I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm just kind of assuming here. It looks like, could be some kind of, schizophrenia too. I've heard that as well too. That could be a possibility. So I know this is a lot of things that have come up. And Planet Serpo says, CI messing with him. Maybe, who knows? Yeah, I know. It's really interesting, and I think, you're going to see a lot of this stuff come out. I'm sure the defense team, if the evidence is looking like he did do this, I'm sure they may try to use some type of, maybe an insanity defense. Look, he was suffering from mental issues. We have documentation that he's seen a doctor. He's been on medication as a child. It was the things in his brain that led him to do this. That could be part of the defense. It is. Yeah, and it is. It's scary. It is very scary. But anyway, I don't have much time today, but I wanted to come on because I haven't been on in quite a while to update you guys with some new videos. But I've just been so busy in my regular life. But I definitely am planning to get some stuff done this weekend, maybe some more live streaming. But I do appreciate all of you guys jumping in here in the last couple of minutes. I am going to end the stream here, but if you want to go back and catch out the replay, please do. And I might have some time this evening, so I might pop on tonight and do another stream and maybe dig a little bit more in this. But I do appreciate all of you guys over here checking this out. If you guys here are new, Beef Supreme and Planet, please go down, hit the thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. And please come over and check out the live streams here. And I'm going to be hoping to get up and do a little bit more of this. Like I said, I had a very limited window of time today, but I wanted to come on and just say hi to everybody and kind of update you. Beef says, give us some more updates. Good find on that message board. I appreciate that. Beef, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. So every time I go live or drop a new video, you can see all that. Hey, Design, how are you, man? Greetings to you as well. And Planet says Misfit Rule, and they do. They're like my favorite band. But anyway, guys, I got to jump off. I have a few things I need to do. I'm going to try to come back later tonight. If I can't, I will be back sometime this weekend and give you guys an update. Appreciate all your time this afternoon. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And just like I said, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and you guys will see when I do any updates or new videos. I am the Opinionated Idiot. I'll see you guys next time. And like they always say, opinions like assholes, and everybody's got one. See you next time, guys. Peace.